are still at the Best Do and meeting interesting people from all different backgrounds, and it's really about celebrating and recognizing the diversity, and particularly people of color. And so I was told that there's a certain lady who I really need to speak to. She's got some interesting things to share, and we've only just met for the first time, right? So if you'd like to introduce yourself to our audience and tell us what you do.
Okay, so my name's Lydia Amoah. I'm the founder of Wealth and Diversity, which is an initiative all about helping organisations recognise that there is diversity and wealth are together, and that when you take on diverse talent, only then can your company truly prosper and grow. Yeah.
Okay, so that's your message.
That's my message. Yeah.
And you're saying that only when people take on those two things and bring them together.
Yeah. I think it's really important, because if you look around, if you look at the world at large, we're in a global village now. Right. With the internet, now with all these different connections, we have become a global village. And now, because we're a global village, you can't isolate, can you? Although it's happening. So if you look at, let's say, what's happening with Brexit at the moment, Theresa May, everybody, they're going to Africa now. Why are they going to Africa? Brexit's about to leave. Europe's more or less done. Now they're going to Africa. Now they're going to India. We've got resources. We've got people. We've got ideas. We've got riches. Okay?
Yes.
And London is a melting pot, actually. And I do like my life in London. And I've been able to achieve quite a lot here. But working with the organisations that I've worked with, I've recognised that something's missing.
And what's that?
At the top, at the very, very top. I'm talking about C-suites. When I say C-suite, it's a bit of an acronym. When I say senior managers, decision makers, CEOs, chief executive officers, managing directors. Most of them look still pale and grey.
Pale and grey, okay. That's a good way of saying it.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago I was invited to an event, and it was the company, I won't mention them because it's perhaps not so cool, but they were, let's just say, they're the 18th largest employer on the planet.
Okay.
And at this dinner event there were some 400 guests at the event, and I was invited by one of the employees of the company, so I'm an outsider.
Yeah.
And guess what I noticed? As soon as I stepped in the door,
What happened?
I was the only black male.
Okay.
So that means even in their company,
Yeah.
there was no representation because I was a guest.
Yeah, that's really, the thing is, at the end of the day, let's look at it like this. Imagine you live in Africa and you want to do business with the United Kingdom, okay? And you come to the business, you have a meeting, and you're doing business with the people at the top. And you don't see anybody, any decision maker who makes vital decisions for the business at the top. But if you walk into the business, you might see somebody of a different ethnicity at reception. Fine. And then you go up, and you want to see a representation everywhere. Because what does that tell you about the business? Number one, how can they do business with you and do it successfully and understand who you are, understand your culture, your background. You're a human being, but you have a cultural background as well, yeah? And if you do not mix cultures and diversity together, how on earth can you do business together?
Well, some would say, well, we've been doing business up until 2019 successfully. And, well, where does all the wealth reside? In the UK, they're like, we've been making our money. Well, maybe not, because we all know that the UK ain't got no money, really.
No, not really. At the end of the day, the way I look at it is this, that there was a report that was done recently, when I say recently, a few years back, and it said that the BAME, when I say BAME, Black, Asian, Minority, Ethnic Community, is valued at 300 billion, okay?
Is that in, what, globally?
That's just in the United Kingdom.
Oh, right.
In America,
300 billion.
300 billion. Okay, and a portion of that, if we look for the Asian community proportion of that is 105 billion. So that leaves us left with 195 billion spread amongst the black community and other minority ethnics within that group.
Okay.
So it goes to show you that we have a lot of spending power. But it's not just spending power we've got skills and we've got resources, we've got ideas, we're innovative people. at the end of the day.
So I heard that you obviously are very passionate about this, and so you decided to do some
Take
kind
it
of
all on.
research and do,
Like Superwoman.
yeah, kind of, and do some kind of report. Tell us about that.
Yeah, because I think so many.
What was the report that you did?
Yeah, the report's called the Black Pound Report, and it's all about showing and telling a story. Because the thing is, I can come up to you with emotions, you know, and that lasts for a second, then it's forgotten. But when you come with stats, they come with facts, and they come with truth, and they come with a story, and that's when businesses begin to sit up and pay attention. So I just thought, let me use my position, and when I say position, the fact that I'm a business coach, I've worked with thousands of people, I've watched businesses be really small and really grow, I've worked with great businesses, so I thought, let me use all of my knowledge and create some of my own research, okay, my own legacy, and not just for me but for everybody, you know. And it basically revealed, I can tell you some of the findings, maybe one key finding from the report, which is probably not going to, you won't probably fall over at this, but 70% of the respondents felt really that they weren't valued as consumers. So 70% of UK population feel they're not being valued as consumers. Now, I push it even further and say, if I'm allowed to mention, last week there's a massive story with Gucci and a blackface jumper.
Right.
Yeah, $900. Basically, you know the black and white minstrel show? Remember the black and white minstrel show?
Yeah.
When they used to black up, basically. And they used to get white people to black up and do the huge big red lips on them.
Yeah.
Well, Gucci decided, Black History Month in America, to reveal a jumper, to sell their top-selling jumper for $900, with blackface comes up to here with big red lips on it. It just caused an absolute outrage in America. And I thought
Gucci done that.
Gucci did this. And at the moment, Dapper Man, Dan, you know, the designer, Gucci, the CEO of Gucci, and him apparently had a meeting a couple of days ago discussing, and apparently there's lots of influential people of diversity and inclusion in the room, asking, why did you make such an almighty, about this jumper? Everybody went mad. Spike Lee, you know, he was going crazy because he just recently got he was for a producer, wasn't it?
Yes.
No, he wanted it to be for producer, but for the film Black Klansman, you know, and he took to Twitter saying, let's boycott these brands. Let's boycott these brands that are disrespecting black and Asian, just disrespecting ethnic, you know, the ethnic minorities, you know. And I just thought, you know what? I want to write something different here. I'm going to say, you know what, people, let's look inside ourselves. Yeah, we are of value.
What do you mean? So I just want to pause there.
Yeah.
When you say let's look inside ourselves, what do you mean? Expand on that.
I will expand. What I mean is, when I say look inside yourself, where do you put your value? Who can validate you? Who can put a price on your head? Are you human traffic, and are you looking to be branded by a hot coal? It's really hot.
So, in a way, what you're saying is it's still happening today, but in a different way.
Yes, it is. And unfortunately,
we're doing it to ourselves.
We're doing it to ourselves now. Before it was inflicted on us, before we were being taken from our own homes, and sitting there with the family, and next minute, now we're saying, I'm no longer captivated like this, but I'm actually going to do it to myself, you know? And I'm going to wear brands like Gucci, I don't mind calling you out. And I'm going to wear a handbag like Prada, I don't mind calling you out. And I don't mind calling out Louis Vuitton either, okay? Because these are the brands that are actually probably have people working in their workhouses from China, working for really small salaries, okay? And then we go and invest with them because we want to feel good. We still want to be owned in some particular way. And it is a bit harsh what I'm saying, but I don't really care. Because at the end of the day, you know, because you know what? If you don't value yourself, then somebody else will put a price on you.
Did you hear that? So notice how we're speaking to so many different people today and yesterday, and yet the message is still coming through. The same GPS message that we keep, you're hearing it, but in different guises. If you don't value yourself, no one else is. But how do you measure yourself? Do you even know? Have you even thought about going inward as opposed to going outward?
It's easy to go outwards. It's easy to point the finger. It's so easy to complain. It's so easy to have disdain. Those things are simple and easy every day of the week. But what does it take to train your minds? What does it take to look inside and be accountable? What does it take to say, look, some of these things that happened in the past were atrocious. They were really bad. What does it take for you to ask yourself, what can I do to make a difference? One small thing, yeah? And then, I'm not saying racism is going to go away. It may not. It may not. But
even if it doesn't go away, it doesn't have to stop us, and it shouldn't actually, and it shouldn't be our problem, should it?
No, because it didn't stop C.J. Walker. C.J. Walker was the first black millionaire, okay? She's the one who created hair relaxer, okay? Back in the 1800s. This was not long after slavery, and there she was. She's America's first billionaire, would probably call her today. Now, I'm talking, there were diabolical circumstances. And she was rare, and alongside many others. George Washington Carver, who basically used to do all the patents for Tom Ford, for the cars? Yeah, he used to do all the patents. So if you're patenting something, what does that mean? It means that you're the creator. If you think about your toilet seats, if you think about open heart surgery, if you think about this is universal. If you think about the traffic lights, come on, it came with us. Everybody from different backgrounds have created greatness. So we have our greatness, and we should never forget it. And especially now, when things may seem really tough, that's when you have to hold on to who you are. But you'll never know who you are unless you take a look, pause, and look at yourself and make the change within. And then you can decide, with my hard-earned cash, where do I want to spend it? Do I want to spend it with Gucci, who completely disrespect me? Or do I want to spend it with a brand that actually represents me?
Wow. So would you say, sister, that more so than ever before, we need platforms that reflect us in our uniqueness, in our divineness, so that where there are a lack of images in mainstream media, there's a place where we could go to, where we can tap into conversations like this.
Completely. You know what? We are the new mainstream. You know what? Diversity is the new currency.
Did you hear that? Diversity is the new currency. And so let me just expand that, because I feel you, like we've only just met, but I feel you, like recognizes like. So what I'm hearing you say is, those of us who are proud of who we are, and are so confident in who we are, that we don't have to exclude others. We can demonstrate the other diversities. That's what is the new currency. Is that what you're saying?
It's the new currency. Listen, I could go on forever, and I know there's not enough time.
Just break it down a little.
I'll try and break it down. If you think about where we originate and what we've got, if you think about this place, most of the materials in this place did not come from the United Kingdom. The floor that we're standing on, the minerals that were used, were sourced in. Where from? Diverse countries, if that's what you'd like to call it. There's richness, there's wealth in us. So we have to realise, can you imagine, if your energy, if you think about it, if your energy, spiritual, whatever you are, but if you're walking around and your vibration tells you that you're of richness. When I say richness, I'm not just talking about money, I'm talking about richness. There's something more than that. And if you walk in that, and even if you've got outside circumstances, you might look at your shoes and think, I need a new pair of shoes, but still, keep telling yourself that you're rich, okay? And just tell and change. There's so many talks that are happening here today about rewiring your brain. You know, I listened to Marissa Peer earlier on, and what I liked about what she said is that we can rewire our brains, we can change our thinking, so we need to change our own thinking. Yeah, we can rewire ourselves to see ourselves for who our divine creator really made us.
You know, we've only just met, so I'm just saying it for the camera so you can know that there's no trickery. Like literally, I deliberately didn't even engage with my sister until we came on camera, and yet to show how in tune we are, we have just launched. We're actually just running next week our first mind reset program. Mind reset. Yeah? Because that's what we need.
That's what we need.
To recognize that, you know what, in order for us to go forward, we recognize that we've been educated, our mind has been conditioned for a system that didn't want us to be the very best. So we got to wipe the slate clean and come again. And that's what you're saying.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, you look like you're a healthy man, so you might go to the gym, you might exercise, and there might have been a time in your life where you might have looked at your stance and said, I need to change that. So you put work at it, didn't you? You conditioned your mind, even when you didn't feel like it probably on some days. That's what we've got to do with ourselves. You know what? You heard that song, Take the Shackles Off Our Feet So We Can Dance. You know that song that, it hit the secular market. But that song is a metaphor. You've got to take the shackles off, because otherwise you're wearing invisible ones when you invest in situations and people and businesses. You know, I'm not saying don't work for a business if you're the only black or Asian person there. Go in there, be a role model, you know, do your thing, do your own thing. I'm not here to measure what you're doing, but do it, make that change, but get rid of the chains.
Sister, I so feel you. I so feel you. You know, we've come here, and over the last 2 days, what I've been feeling, and I'm actually going to put it out on camera. Imagine if next year, we had enough businesses from our community that were resonating on this. And even if we weren't able to do this, but we had enough of us come together where we had a section
completely
that was where we represented, like a village within this whole complex.
It can be done. That, to me, when you say that, I feel it, and it can be done. Because if you say it and you can believe it, on some size you can definitely achieve it. On some size.
So maybe we're going to have a conversation about that to see how if some of your businesses, because then imagine being able to go to the organizers and say, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to bring, because we know we're the new mainstream. You don't know it, but let us give you a taste of what we can bring to your situation.
And do you know what that would do? That would educate them. That would take the fear off, because some of them, listen, I'm not going to put a blame out there, right? But it would in a way, because, you know, I've seen these little comics that say, we're diverse, but make sure you employ someone that just looks like me. You know, make sure that's different, but they look like me, think like me, sound like me. That's not diversity, is it? You know, at the end of the day. So sometimes, let's say, maybe we're not going to blame people for maybe being drawn to their own type, okay? So it takes visualizing and seeing something different. So we come in and we show them how we communicate, how we do business, how we're creative, all the things amazing things we do. I mean, look, if you think about hair, just for one last thing, if you think about hair, now, I remember back in the day, everyone used to say, oh, your hair looks different today, you know, but now, what's happening? The Caucasian and the European now are now duplicating and doing the same hair thing. They're not stupid, because you see what I mean? Because we generate ideas and we create ideas. So we have to have the solid foundation to keep them sustainable. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So showing people how we can do business and be successful, I mean, it will just change so much.
And in this new season, however, doing it in such a way that what we create doesn't then get taken from us.
Yeah, we don't give it away.
Well, given or taken.
Yes. Yeah, because you know what? Sometimes you might not really want to look at the reality that some of the big corporate giants, they do that, you know? They see you doing something great, and they've got, you know, they come along, they're like giants, aren't they? And they can come along and they can take something off you, and it's gone.
Like parasites, you know, you can literally come in.
Yeah.
So,
you know, we can't really focus on that, because that happens anyway amongst people do it to each other. We sometimes do it to ourselves.
Absolutely, but we can build with that awareness.
Yes.
So we safeguard. So it's great.
Build with that awareness.
Wow, thank you. You certainly shared some light. I want to ask you one question before I'd like you to sign off by giving people your contact details as to how they can get in touch with you. So you're a business coach. How long have you been a business coach?
Okay, so 2006, I was working for a charity, and I basically headed up the events department for bespoke tailored training. So I would go into businesses, speak to CEOs, speak to people at the very top, and find out what their problems were, and created courses. And then I brought coaching into the game, and then I made them £2 million. And I thought, well, I've made this company £2 million. I need to do something for myself. Yeah. So really, since 2006, and seriously, since 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so if people would like to get in touch with you, how could they reach you? So if you give your full name and your contact details.
Okay, so depending upon your audience, what you like, you can find me on Twitter at Lydia Amoah, which is AMOAH for Harry, _, or you can find me at Lydia Amoah _official on Instagram, or just put Lydia Amoah into the search engine and I will appear. My internet website is lydiaamoah.com, so yeah, I'm fully branded by my name. And also, if you're very interested in understanding and learning more about wealth in diversity, go to wealthindiversity.co.uk. Thank you.
Wow, Lydia, thank you so much. Lydia Amoah. So where is that from? Ghana.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. I knew it was like you're talking and I'm hearing you, but I'm feeling you more. Now I know why, because my spiritual mentor is from Ghana. So we're definitely going to have conversation on camera. I hope you've enjoyed this and found this really enjoyable. It's me, Tony DADA, your soul brother from DADA TV, saying enough love, and our sister, Lydia.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Tony DADA. Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you. Wow.